పిల్లలకు కలల పండుగ, పెద్దలకు కనుల నిండుగా. తారా సంస్థ నిర్వహిస్తున్న అతిపెద్ద బాలోత్సవం, ఉత్తర అమెరికా చిన్నారులకు తొలిసారి వర్చువల్ వేడుక. ప్రతిభావంతులైన పిల్లలందరూ కలిసి జరుపుకునే సంబరం. పిల్లల్లోని ప్రతిభ, సృజనాత్మకతను ప్రోత్సహించడమే ప్రధాన లక్ష్యం. ఆన్లైన్ వేదికగా చిన్నారుల టాలెంట్ కు పట్టం కట్టే ఒక చక్కని అవకాశం. సంగీతం, సాహిత్యం, కవిత్వం, పాటలు, ఇలా ఎన్నో పోటీలు.
Namaste and to all participants and audiences, and thank you all for your attendance and participation in this event, remembering Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao during his centenary birth anniversary. Thank you for helping educate everyone about Sri Narasimha Rao accomplishments, leadership and qualities that will help drive to get the Bharat Ratna for PV petition going. Also, want to thank TV5 and TV Asia for hosting this event and in promoting this remembrance of Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu. And we also have 4 sponsors who you'll be occasionally seeing them as we break at different times. We have today have 2 co-hosts, myself and Vijay Kumar Garu. So we will be hosting, and we have about 8 panelists. Starting with Srimati Nisha Magaluri, Srimati Shyala Talluri, Dr. Saraswati Kalwakota, and she's the daughter of Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao. So we are really glad that she's part of this event. Sri Rohit Wakrala, Sri Prasanna Kasturi, Sri Lakshmi Prasad Kavali, Sri Prasad Swarna, and Sri Ashok Badi. And a few things that I like to set for the panelists is, as we start this program, it's a 2-hour event and we have a lot to cover, and obviously 2 hours is not enough to talk about Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu. However, we had this privilege from TV5 and TV Asia to accommodate this. So I'd like to set some ground rules. I'd like to kind of set about 2 minutes for each question as we ask. And then if there is some follow-up, we can do that one. Also, I'll try to remind as we get close to the 2-minute thing, and also we will have breaks that would kind of help us show you the sponsors message as well as message about P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu as we go along. Okay. With that, I just wanted to welcome again all the panelists, and we kind of start here with us. The first question I'm going to go with is Nisha Magaluri. What do you think are the great qualities of PV that enabled him to become the Prime Minister of India?
Namaste, Andy. I think P.V. Narasimha Rao was highly erudite and intellectual. I think it's the point where here say he's one amongst only 2 people on the planet who filled all the conditions to head the Kottalam monastery. Typically, such an individual would be ideological and a sticker to rules. This is what made P.V. Narasimha Rao unique and ultimately become what he was. He, I think, was extremely practical and flexible. As Vinay Sitapati carefully documented in his biography of P.V. Narasimha Rao, he was personally non-corrupt, but he could be flexible to sustain a minority government. He was accused of being indecisive. But he was lauded in ushering a lot of economic reforms that he brought to the country. He was very erudite, but believed in astrologers and godmen, again, who it turns out augmented his political lobbying to run the minority government. He also relied and appeared to rely on consensus, but feared to be vindictive. Such an enigma he was, combined with his scholarly erudition, made him scale up the heights of the political ladder, from the state cabinet minister to chief minister to central minister to prime minister, unlike anybody else. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandy. Vijay Kumar garu, you want to ask the next question?
Yes, Sandy. Shaila garu, Talluri.
Yes, sir. Before we go into the next question, I want to add something to Nisha, whatever Nisha Magluri was saying. There was something that caught my attention. Could be true, but I do not agree with it. It said PV was indecisive. In his own words, there is a quote out there. He said, "I am accused of not making decisions, but I think about it a lot and I make decisions not to make a decision about it." That's what the greatness of PV is. And that's why I am part of this campaign that's actually rooting for Bharat Ratna.
Absolutely. I think I was stating that he was accused, but I wasn't stating that he was indecisive.
Yes. Yeah. So I just want to add to it.
I understand.
Great points, each other.
Mark, so let's kind of move on. And I'm sure we'll have the opportunity throughout the hour to add more into this mix. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Vijay Kumar garu.
Shaila garu kandidi. What are the qualities, great qualities of PV that can be adapted by upcoming leaders and the youth? I asked koncham elaborate chesi cheppandi.
Yeah, sure. Anil. Just this morning, I was part of a team that was coaching young, upcoming graduates and PhDs. We were talking about personality development, and this particular thing, since I knew that I was going to talk about PV today, that was right on top of my mind. All the desirable qualities we were talking to the youth about, being flexible, being humble, being agile in leadership, problem solving, decision making. As I went through that desired list that we look in an effective leader, all I could think of was PV garu. And there are a few points that I will elaborate on why I think he is a born leader. Some people might disagree with it, saying, he was not vocal, he was not in your face kind of a leader, right? But leadership does not have to be loud. He was a doer. He was not a talker, he was a thinker. And that's where I was also talking about that decision making and the thinking that he had a lot of thought behind it. He also, PV garu, also knew to pick right people for the right roles. He did not care what party they were affiliated with. That's the beauty of his leadership. That is something that the youth should learn, that give credit where it's due. A leader, even for the leaders or the youth leaders or just youth in general, we are always there trying to grab attention. And that's not what PV stood for. Yet, today, thousands and lakhs and hundreds of thousands of people are rooting for him to be the Bharat Ratna, to be given awarded Bharat Ratna. Why? Because he was an exemplary example of what a leader should be and what a leader he was. A couple of examples on why and where I feel, I think most of you here know the background on a lot of things about PV garu. The reason you are here today along with me. I'm here to learn more from what you are going to share. One example, a popular one, he sent Vajpayee ji to UN. He selected Subramaniam Swamy to be on a cabinet in an important role. He was a patriot, and that's something that the youth should learn from.
Thanks, Sandy. Shaila garu. So we are talking about leadership qualities here, PV, and so it's a pleasure to have Saraswati garu, who is daughter of PV and who has been with him all along the way. and participated in some of the programs and so on. So with that, Saraswati Garu, what is your father, how is your father influenced people, including you, by leading his life with honesty, humility, and approaching issues in a broader way?
Namaskaram andi, and I'm here and I'm very pleased to express my inner feelings to which will definitely reflect his personality to his children as well as to the entire world. And as Nisha Garu mentioned, he was very well known as a person who does not make this decision. And as Shaila Garu mentioned, how it was misunderstood, how his personality was misunderstood. And in personal experience, my father, when he was here, and he used to come to hide out from India because it was very difficult for him to, he needed a break every often, so he would come and would not tell anybody that he's in Dayton, spending some time with us. So at that time, one of those visits, my son at that time was like in 20s, early 20s, and he was undecided about what he wanted to do. And of course, he went to grad school, and then he took the political science, and he used to write articles. And when my father was here, he would ask my father to edit. And he wouldn't talk. My father never gave that one-on-one talk to his children. He never had time at that time, but that was different. A lot of people were like that. But my father spent more time with him because he was alone in the house, and then we had nobody else. That was the reason. And he bonded with his grandchildren a lot better than with his children. And of course, we are like that. So, like I bond with my grandchildren much more than what I did with my sons. So I was concerned about my son, and I was talking to my father. We call him Bapu in our house. I'm worried about this Nitin, who is my son. He's not sure what he wants to do. So he said, let him not take any decision. He is the one who doesn't want to take the decision, and that is the decision he has taken. Exactly what he said, what we were talking about. And I had to listen to my father's wise words at that time, and he did not make the decision. And eventually he went on to do his MBA, and he did his careers later on. So what I'm saying is whatever he did it at home, it reflected on his family as well as into the world. And he didn't say something at home different and outside different. He lived a true life at home. He had values, and he believed in his values, and he committed into his values. And our financial budget was tight when we were growing up. So when Nisha Garu mentioned that he was not a corrupt man, and he was not, we can see the reflection of not being corrupt at home. We were tight with everything financially. However, we had God's grace. We had enough to eat, enough to have shelter, enough to have. But his entire aspiration and relentless journey towards education is what his personality was, and he encouraged that in all his children. And you can see outside world also how he loved to do things in a diversified way, because his talents, his interest in the talents were innumerable. You can't even think. He would see a car in the village, and he would turn that engine of the car and bring diesel engine to the car so that the car would run.
Hello,
So
Saraswati Jigaru. I know you'll have more opportunities to kind of add more into this one. So sorry for interrupting you here. But we'll take a break here and we'll start with Rohit with the next question. Sorry for break time, please.
This program is sponsored by Cross Country Mortgage, Signature Medical Group, River Solutions, your learning center. Hello everyone, this is your an appeal to the Indian government soliciting the Bharat Ratna Award for PV Narasimha Rao. PV Narasimha Rao, a true patriotic statesman who always believed nations in the political system. The year 2020 marked the centenary birthday celebrations of PV Narasimha Rao. Telangana Assembly in the month of September adopted a resolution seeking to confer I request all NRIs and NRI organizations to join this resolution and make it success. We have a team of petition that needs to be signed and few other procedures that need to be followed in order to achieve the goal. And as we had to do it, signature letter. Thank you.
Namaste everyone. My name is Hari Reni. I am from Chicago. And I support this movement requesting Bharat Ratna for PV Narasimha Rao. And I appeal to the government of India and Modi ji to grant Bharat Ratna for PV Narasimha Rao in 2020.
One more page.
I request everyone here to sign the petition and extend your support to get Bharat Ratna for PV Narasimha Rao. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Dheeraj Kumar. I live in St. Louis, Missouri for over 2 decades now in the US. And I recommend PV Narasimha Rao or Bharat Ratna simply because he has great contribution to India, especially in the economic reforms. And in fact, all the reforms which is currently taking place and before that was started in his district, and in fact is considered father of economic reforms of India. Not only that, he was a very good politician, a social activist, and good person as well. So I would highly recommend the Modi government to award him. Thank you.
Okay, Vijay Kumar Garu, can you take the next question with Rohit, please? Dr. Vijay Kumar, are you there?
Sir, you are on mute, Vijay Kumar Garu.
Sorry, 20. This is for Rohit Garu. For a person like him coming from South to go all the way to the national level was not easy to wither that environment at that time. My father knows him very well, but he was a very young man at that time. And for going itself is an achievement from South to go itself. Even people like Rajagopalachari had to fall from grace. And he sustained and went. And it is highly commendable that the state of Telangana is honoring him. Please comment upon the role played by TRS in honoring PV and your POV on how the governments to offer the similar honor on his centenary birth anniversary. Just comment about what the government is doing, whether it's adequate or not. Comment, Jane.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you. So the role played by the TRS party-led government in Telangana is very commendable, not just this centenary year, but also this started honoring PV by the Telangana state government started all the way in the year 2014, immediately after the state formation. Telangana state was formed on June 2nd of 2014, and in the same month, the birth anniversary of Sri PV Garu falls in the same month, June 28th. So the very first month of the state formation, Telangana started honoring PV Garu by celebrating his birth anniversary officially at the resting place of PV Garu, the PV Gnan Bhumi in Hyderabad, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Garu, and also in all the collectorates officially at the district level. So even the death anniversary of Sri PV Garu is being celebrated by the state government officially, remembering him on his death anniversary, which falls in the month of December. So this is not just about centenary celebrations. Telangana is already way ahead in celebrating the legacy of PV Garu from the very first month of the state formation. So coming to this centenary celebrations, Honorable Chief Minister Garu started reviewing about the PV's centenary celebrations few months earlier to the birth anniversary. So under the leadership of the party parliamentary leader, K. Keshav Rao Garu, a centenary celebrations committee was formed, which includes key ministers, important officials, and also the family of the PV, for which the same committee, even the chief minister, from the chief minister to the low-level officer, everyone are working under the guidance of this same committee, which includes the family and other associates of PV Garu like Sanjay Baru, Parakala Prabhakar Garu, etc. So, and even the considering the PV Garu's contribution to India in various sectors with global vision. So, Telangana state government decided to establish the statue, at least one statue in every continent. So, state government has already ordered the necessary statues, and also the Telangana state governments want to install the statue in the Telangana Bhavan at New Delhi. So these are the things Telangana state government taking up, and also Telangana state started collecting the scripts written by PV Garu, which were unpublished, to start publishing, and also is looking forward to republish the books written by Sri PV Garu. So coming to the other states' role in this, I would like to say about the importance of PV Garu related to states like Maharashtra, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, because PV Garu has represented in Lok Sabha from these states, 4 states in 4 different elections. So these states should also come forward in honoring PV Garu, and being a national leader at a stature of Prime Minister, being the Prime Minister, Government of India also should under the guidance of Government of India, all state governments should start celebrating PV Gari's legacy this centenary year, I feel.
Oh, thanks, Rohit Garu. Thank you very much. And maybe we'll come back again with some of those points, but I appreciate it. And with that, I'd like to move to Prasanna Kasturi Garu as the next question. So Prasanna Garu, has he done justice to the top post he held? And if so, what do you think are his major contributions to the country?
I think it's in 1991. Everything got mixed up and very confusing stage in the country, because I still remember, we are supposed to come to Italy and we are supposed to get a visa. Our Rajiv Gandhi Garu, he passed away. Suddenly we don't know what to do. Then the election came. Then the challenge is how to get out of this total miserable situation, because in the funds, international funds were so low. We didn't know about those things. Why petrol price goes up and comes down. Suddenly we came to know on the newspapers the amount of foreign exchange is so low. It's kind of, we started feeling, what are we doing? Then next 5 years, I was always looking at PV sir's ruling, how he did, how he managed the different scenarios and all the chaos. And what surprised me is he never spoke a lot. So being quiet, somebody doing such a beautiful work is amazing. And what I think is his best contribution to the country itself is being quiet and working quietly. Unlike we have a lot of situation in the current situation where people talk a lot but work less. So economics, I'm thinking, is one of the best things he did for the country. So one of the ways we saw opening up of the markets and then economic situations, how he liberalized, easing of the funds and everything. That's the best thing he did. And what I think is, whether he is South Indian or North Indian or East or West in India, he has done something great to this country. I am a Kannadiga, but I always feel PV Narasimha Rao is a great achiever, but underappreciated. So which I felt very bad. Why a person who worked for the country, whether it is for the economic issues, opening up of the market, or quietly trying to run the whole country for 5 years with less number of MPs, it is like having controlled by 200 situations. So he did a wonderful job. And I believe as an Indian, I respect him. I always wondered why the political system in India is not really recognizing this kind of person. It's high time to do that one.
Yeah, thanks, Prasanna ji. And I agree with you. He's a trailblazer. He's a collaborator, a true leader. He knows when to follow and when to lead and how to lead and so on. So with that, I'd like to take it to Vijay Kumar Garu. Your next question, please.
Lakshmi Prasad Garge, and he's a full of information about PV. He has met him and all that. This is for Lakshmi Prasad. When it comes to the security of the country, how is his security policies, specifically in government's crucial role in restoration of normalcy in Punjab? And what are the actions that impressed you most? It's not just Punjab. We don't have to confine only to Punjab. His national security movements were really great. Just make a comment about it.
Thanks, Bidraj Garu. PV played a significant role in the restoration of normalcy in the entire country, including in Punjab. The Khalistan movement demanding separate Khalistan country for the Sikhs was at its peak, threatening the very unity of the nation. Tens of thousands of innocents lost their lives. Thousands of security personnel sacrificed their lives, and thousands of militants were also killed in one of the worst militant movements world over. The delayed and defective actions led to further divide, in which the Prime Minister of the country, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, was killed by her own security guards in 1984, months after Operation Blue Star. In the retaliation, several thousands of innocent Sikhs were killed, further worsening the relations between Hindus and Sikhs. The inability of the central government to chalk out a proper course to restore normalcy in Punjab resulted in prolonged president's rule in the state with little chance of normalcy to be restored. The Lok Sabha elections and assembly elections in Punjab, along with the Lok Sabha elections in Jammu and Kashmir, were cancelled as the entire process was initiated. Giving a top priority to restoration of normalcy in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir, PV Narasimha Rao Garu ordered the redeployment of army massively in both the states. Simultaneously, the police force was strengthened and modernized with sophisticated arms and ammunition. A greater coordination between the police on the one hand and all army and paramilitary forces from police station level was brought about the much needed relief. Assuring no interference in day-to-day working of the force, the direction from the central government was very clear. Improve situation and pave way for elections. After reviewing the situation in November, a few months after PV came to power, the government decided to hold the Lok Sabha elections in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir in February 1992, along with assembly elections in Punjab. As many as 220 companies of security forces were deployed in Punjab, and one platoon to each contesting candidate was allotted for security. The security to the candidates at their homes while they are on travel was also beefed up. Advanced security forces were sent in to ensure that there is no law and order problem when the contesting candidates were on the move. The center chose KPS Gill as DGP in Punjab. Gill was...
That would be great, sir.
Pardon?
If you can wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. Well, only one minute only. Gill was brought in, DGP in 92, and this brought about much relief. With the successful, within 1 minute I'm closing, with successful conduct of elections in Punjab, in which Congress won 12 out of 13 seats, 13 Lok Sabha seats, and also won assembly elections, enabling the Congress to form the government with Bian Singh as CM. This enabled the state to go ahead with local body elections, municipal elections in September, and Panchayat elections a little later. Gill and his men faced a series of charges of killing several innocent people in the garb of militants. A series of judicial and CBI inquiries were also conducted in the subsequent years. S.B. Chavan was a close associate of PV, as Home Minister played a very crucial role in entire Home Ministry functioning at that time. That brought up results, and normalcy has been restored in the country.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. So now we like to go with Prasad Swarna, and I'm assuming all the attendees who are watching this knows who Prasad Swarna is. I can tell you for this effort that is going on right now for Bharat Ratna for PV, as well as for this remembrance in St. Louis, as well as nationwide here with the NRIs. He's the one who initiated this one, and thank you, Swarna Garu. And with that, so Prasad Garu, what are the unique qualities, leadership qualities of PV that impressed you the most? And then after this, we'll have a break after your response. You're on mute, and you continue, please.
And just a mistake. Okay. Right.
Yep.
Namaste, everybody. This is Prasad Swarna from St. Louis. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So, as Kazagaru mentioned, I think a group of us has started this, and this became a national movement. Thanks to NRA organizations to join the movement, basically, and taking it forward. With that, coming back to the question, what unique qualities? PV Garu has multiple qualities. Starting with, he was a poet, he was a writer, he was multilinguistic, and that really helped him to grow as a successful leader, in spite of coming from South India. Coming from South India is definitely has a little negative, are a setback because the people naturally cannot speak the national language easily, but PV Garu didn't have a problem. Therefore, he was, even though he's from South India, because of his multilingualistic nature, he was able to really connect with the right people and grow as a leader. So I just want to touch upon a few incidents from his term as a PM to highlight basically some of his leadership qualities that he exhibited. These incidents not only established him as a strong leader among the party and the parliament, but also at the international front. So one is his first speech to the nation after taking over the prime minister post. It was drafted by Mr. Naresh, it was drafted with the help of Mr. Naresh Chandra, who was the cabinet secretary at the time, I believe. And the speech looked as if it came from his mind, not a prepared speech. A quote from the speech I want to just read out is, "Economy is in crisis. Balance of payment situation is extremely difficult. Inflation pressures on prices of commodities growing. No time to lose. We need to tighten our belt and prepare to make necessary sacrifices to remain our economic independence and build a strong nation." It was crystal clear and very specific, and he came up with a specific action plan to resolve this crisis. So that's one thing I want to call out. Number two is when in 1992 July, I believe, Mr. Chidambaram, he was one of the ministers in PV's cabinet. When he was alleged with some improper relationship to the ownership of shares in Fair Growth Financial Services, Mr. Chidambaram went to public TV and offered his resignation. PV didn't like it. And instead of, Chidambaram thought he will call and console him, but PV didn't do it. He quietly accepted his resignation and moved on. With that, he not only basically sent a strong message to Chidambaram, he also sent a strong message to his party man that he is in charge, he is the leader, not anybody else. So those are the two situations that really basically used by PV. I mean, you can basically learn a ton of his leadership qualities. So with that, I want to basically conclude my answer, and I don't want to take too much time. Thank you.
Thank you. Vijay Kumar Garu? You are on mute again, Vijay Kumar Garu. Oh, sorry, this is a break time. Prasad Garu,
we are going to make a break, and then we'll come back in a minute.
Sure. Can you move on to the next question? We'll come back on it.
Yeah, sure. So I think Vijay Kumar Garu, why don't you go ahead and ask?
We'll go ahead with this. This is for Ashok Garan. This is for Sri Ashok Bhaddi. The question is, what are the qualities and qualifications which help him to rise to prominence in Congress? No.
Oh, so good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. There have been some eminent speakers who have already given out their views on Shri P.V. Narasimha Rao ji. One of the greatest gems, or Ratna is a gem. One of the greatest gems that India has produced. Shri P.V. Narasimha Rao ji will be one among the brightest of them. Well, one of the main qualities and why he went on to become one of the tallest leaders um, in the country is he was a patriotic statesman. So there's a fine definition here. We have seen leaders who are very patriotic, which is a very good quality of a leader. We have seen a lot of leaders who are very good statesmen. But a combination of both these qualities is very unique. And that is something Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao ji has exhibited time and again. And as already explained by Sri Shaila Kaluri ji, he, the example, one of the few good examples that we can give out is him taking into his cabinet Subramaniam Swamiji, or him sending out Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee to the UN. So he had the nation first. So a person having a nation first thought process, he was showed that he was very patriotic and he was a statesman, because by taking the opposition into his team, he had no opposition now. And that was probably one of the few qualities that led him to run a minority government. And mind you, he was a minority within the Congress party, the government in power at that time. Congress party was a minority, the government itself was in minority, but he was a minority within the Congress party, and yet he was the only non-Nehru Gandhi family that ran a full-term government for 5 years. So I would just conclude for now. I think I have given sufficient examples and made my point as to why the qualities that he has exhibited as a statesman and as a political leader to go on to deserve the Bharat Ratna.
Thank you, Ashok ji and Prasad. We will have a break right now.
This program is sponsored by Cross Country Mortgage, Signature Medical Group, New Solutions, your learning center.
My name is Ramalu Samudrala, practicing ophthalmic surgery in St. Louis last 45 years. I request Modi government to consider P.V. Narasimha Rao nomination for Bharat Ratna. His actions, India shining now. Jai Hind.
Hi, I am Madhu Rajmanikam, live in St. Louis, Missouri. I like Indian government consider giving Bharat Ratna award to Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao for his great achievement on his 100th century year. He is one of the great leader, and I request all public to sign the petition and share this video. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Okay. Saraswati Garu, are you there? Saraswati ji? Did she step out then? Okay.
She stepped out, and she mentioned that she had another engagement as well.
That's right. That's why I wanted to catch her before she left. So obviously we missed her then. Okay. The next question. Actually, I had it for Saraswati ji, so we'll see. Maybe I'll go with Shaila Garu, if you don't mind. Why do you think PV should be awarded with Bharat Ratna?
Yeah, my very first question that I have always done this in discussions is why not? If not him, who deserves it more? Everybody here on the panel had a lot to say, right? And that is just not even scratching the surface of the great man, the great qualities, and the great leader he was. And I'm sure everybody agrees, right? One thing, when he inherited power, I would say that, I'll just, excuse me for using the word inherited here, but when he inherited power for a country, everything that could go wrong already was wrong, be it internationally, international relationships, national, the insurgency in a couple of states, Punjab, Assam, and Kashmir, I think, right? And then the economic disaster that the country was in. Hard fact there, tough word, but yes, it was. And then the political turmoil itself, and with a minority government at that, winning everybody's hearts, getting the country out of everything that was bad, and putting India on the path to be called a modern India. I mean, all the reforms, not just the economic reforms, everything that he did had a lot of thought, and he never took credit for it. Maybe that was why, I don't know if that's part of this question, but he never tooted his own horn. That could be why he is not a Bharat Ratna yet, right? So my answer goes back to why not? If not PV, who deserves it better? I know there are many great people who were awarded that, but that's it, Andy. I don't think there is much more to say. He is a great man, and he deserves it.
Thanks, Shaila ji. And Vijay Kumar Garu, next question. And I also wanted to make kind of limit to 2 minutes going forward, because we got a good number of questions to cover. So just wanted to kind of remind you on that one. And again, great information, and that's why I didn't want to stop any of you. But with that, Vijay Kumar Garu, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why we are limiting. I have the temptation of saying something before asking the question too. I'm trying to see that the whole 2 minutes is given to the speaker. This is for Rohit ji. This is one of the major problems with Indians when Annie Besant was asked, when my father was also in a group of leaders, was, what is wrong with our leadership? She said, your leadership lacks recognition of others. They lack generosity. Now something has come up. There are government of India is recognizing in some form or the other. What are the what is the process by which government has set up something to recognize great people in India? Can you please comment on it?
Yes, sir. There are actually multiple ways in recognizing the citizens for their contribution, starting from the honoring them with the highest civilian awards in India, and also to the protecting, preserving, and taking forward their legacies. So there are multiple things like awards like Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, etc. And also, if it is to some specific sector, something like sports, there are awards like Gyanchand Award, the Arjun Award, and if it is for defense, Paramveer Chakra, President's Police Medal for the police services, and there are multiple such awards process of recognizations in India. But when it comes to the leaders of this nation, there are also the other unwritten rules or unwritten orders in taking their legacy forward or protecting their legacy, such as like constructing the memorials in their honor, or putting up the life-size portraits in the Parliament Hall of the leaders. Like, of course, PV Narasimha Rao doesn't have the portrait in the Parliament. Telangana state government has passed a resolution about the same, asking government of India to install a life-size portrait, and the portrait and the statue can also be donated by state government. And like, there are such things, construction of memorials and all. And also, rather than saying educational institutions, I would like to say the center of excellences, naming the center of excellences in their honor. Like, we are also asking this government of India to rename Hyderabad Central University as the PV Narasimha Rao University of Hyderabad, because he is the one who established the Central University in Hyderabad. So there are such ways to honor these people, our leaders. And there are also other ways like remembrance activities taken up by the government. For say, today we are celebrating the Rashtriya Ekta Divas, the birth anniversary of Sri Sardar Patel ji. So we are celebrating Good Governance Day on the birth anniversary of Sri Vajpayee ji. We are celebrating like Kisan Divas on former Prime Minister Chaudhary Charan Singh's birth anniversary. So,
Rohit,
like in the
Rohit,
yes.
So if you don't mind, I want to stop there, and I know you will you can add to it as we go with the next step. So thank you on that one. So with that one, the next one I like to go with Prasanna ji. So how effective PV was to work across party lines, specifically with BJP and other parties, to what extent PV's relationships with Vajpayee gained? I mean, I know we talked about a little bit, so if you can expand on that, that would be great.
If you look at the personalities of both men, if you take out the political scenarios out, they would have been some of the best friends sitting and chatting with poetical verses, I'm guessing. So I still remember one of the place I read is, it seems Narasimha Rao said in Kala Dala time is my guru is Vajpayee. Then, but Vajpayee responded, yes, but I'm not in the one of the famous candle time. I'm not your guru. They responded each other nicely, but they do had a lot of political differences, but they really appreciated each other as friends. But once you sit in two opposite parties, you have to work with them. So one of the greatest dreams I think both men had equally is the security of India. So especially with the nuclear programming, which for some reason PV Narasimha Rao he was unable to do, and also I believe he was a good friend of Vajpayee ji, irrespective of political sides and beliefs. I believe he put a lot of good words in the Western world about the way BJP works, and also the way they talk to each other. So I believe there was a kind of a hot and sour relationship, just like you have a masala, you put it on top of a pani puri kind of thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but inside they had respect for each other. So both of them are great leaders. The basic interest in them was to make our country very strong. So the dream which PVN had, and it was passed on to Vajpayee ji, and PVN ji looked in his lifetime towards the nuclear explosion, so which made India a strong country. So they were all bonded friends in that respect. Of course, other things, they were always opposition parties. So beyond that, they were good poets and learned people. So that's all I can tell. Thank you.
Yeah, Prasanna, good information. So Vijay Kumar?
For Nisha ji, the we know PV has put India from the path of poverty to path of prosperity. As far as his contributions to India are unquestionable. He didn't stop at that. At the international level, can you comment about what his contributions are?
Absolutely. PV Narasimha Rao has brought about necessary changes to ensure that India was recognized as a major power. This paradigm shift was improving ties with Israel, even while winning the confidence of the Arab nations. Another big step was bringing India closer to the USA, bolstering all the economic and political ties when Russia, as a big country, they were still struggling with its post-Cold War issues. The Look East policy of his has made a huge impact on the Indian economy. He said and recalled how the Southeast Asia nations had become important economic partners in India's growth. So all his experience as a foreign minister has helped push through the foreign policy reforms without annoying world or domestic powers. On relations with China, PV Narasimha Rao was successful in engaging China and separating the economic cooperation with border issues. He had his impact on SAARC nations, ensuring that India was a dominant partner, yet a friendly one. India's global presence as a major economic power due to PV Narasimha Rao. The world media had written of India and said the country had been on the verge of economic collapse before he took over as a prime minister. So to take the leap from that shameful phase of depositing Indian gold reserves to the present position, it was the economic vision that he had and liberalization policies of his and Manmohan Singh's. So for his skillful management of alliances and courage to introduce all the bold economic reforms that he brought, he definitely deserves the coveted Bharat Ratna. Thank you.
Thanks, Nishaji. So the next question, we'd like to go with Shailaji. What are the principal educational reforms brought in by PV in the state and the national level? Briefly highlight their significance. How do you rate these performances? Free education through Gurukula Pathasala, Navodaya at national level.
PV was a learner himself. He was a lifelong learner, and no wonder education was top on his agenda. I mean, later part of his life, he was programming in COBOL and Unix. That's the kind of a person, a lifelong learner that PV was. Going back to the question on education, wonderful reforms, wonderful changes to what was already in place, wonderful tweaks to the national education program. Okay, we'll go back to the Navodayas and all that. The very first Navodaya in Nalgonda, if I'm right? Even recently, CM KCR Garu was saying that inspired Telangana government to go to 600 or 900 Gurukulas. That was he sowed that seed. And then rest is history with the residential schools being the norm across India. Now going to education for all is what he believed. He was kind of campaigning for at least 2 teachers per school, at least 2 classrooms. We still see, I work with 500 schools in Telangana and across India and in a few other countries, but we'll stick to India, right? I still see that there's a lot of improvement in the primary and secondary education, but the visionary he set a standard for it. And then we need to step up a bit with the higher education. He was instrumental in bringing up all these CETs, the MSETs and everything else of the Indian education system. So again, going back to what I said in an earlier question, he was this visionary. You can tell from my speech that I am a big fan of his reforms, his thought process, and how he actually paved that way. And then we have to respect everybody else that came after him who do give credit to him, just like he did give credit to others who were part of his team. And when Manmohan Singh took the education reforms further and made a few more changes, and even the recent education reforms with the current government.
Thank you, Shailaji. And now we'll take a small break.
My name is Narasimha. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an anesthesiologist and pain and doctor since 2000. I strongly recommend Sri P.V. Narasimha for Bharat Ratna Award, and I request Modi government to allow him to give this great honor, a great person. When I was in the IMC as Prime Minister of India, and I was in Andhra Pradesh, the Chief Minister. He did a lot of good things for people of Andhra Pradesh and worked very hard for it. And a defense and foreign minister also. He's a well-deserved person for the Bharat Ratna. I one more time request Modi's government and please consider him for this great honor, be a great person of India. Thank you.
My name is Vijay Kumar. This is regarding the recognition of former Ratna Venkata Narasimha Rao, popularly known as P.V. Narasimha Rao, affectionately called
Mrs. Ragadu, whenever you're ready.
Yes, go ahead. It's your question, Andy. You want to ask Prasad Garu, Kavali Prasad Garu?
Prasad Garu, actually, ఈ question లో all the eminent speakers here, the eminent panelists have made one comments on this already. If you are very informational. This is a chance to complete what you are saying. What are the contributions of PV that affected a common man to his betterment, and also at the national level, not just in Telangana or Andhra, the whole country?
Thanks, Vijay Kumar Garu. PV Narasimha is an architect of modern India, and it's bringing about major economic reforms in the country and restoration of normalcy in the troubled country. He and his government took a series of radical steps for the betterment of society. Particularly, the major changes which he brought about is in the telecom sector. And before he took over as Prime Minister, we did not have any facility for dialing or anything. We did not have cell phones. There was no fax also in those days. During his tenure, he upgraded the system in such a big way that even a remote village has an ISD facility. You can call USA from America, a remote village. That was a major reform in the telecom sector he brought about. Rajesh Pilot played a crucial role in this endeavor. Then he made good reforms, as everybody said repeatedly, and as I've also said in the past. His reforms on education, his reforms in railways, in the railway reservations, reforms in various other sectors are also splendid and caused, good impact on the society. Railway reservations, you all know. In the past, we had to stand in queue. Every name has to be written and all. But because of his improvements, the telecom sector improvements have helped in the railway reservation too. And in the railways, another major thing which he did and which benefited the common man was the launching of uni-gauge system. As a result of one single gauge, the overall economy of the country, overall economy of the railways has improved, and it also improved the facility for the railway passengers. In the past, the state governments were not conducting the local body elections, and they were left to the whims and their fancies. But after he took over as Prime Minister, he linked the funding from the central government to the holding of elections. Unless the local body elections are held, he did not release the funds from the government. So every state was forced to conduct the elections. T.N. Sesham was allowed to bring in major reforms in the election, as an actual commissioner. But at the same time, people thought he controlled him under the pressure from local leaders. He strengthened the organization, but it helped T.N. Sesham to further improve his reforms in the electoral reforms. And in the past, the elected representatives or government employees who were ever in the government buildings, they never vacated. The ministers who were in 60s, 70s also, they were still occupying, or their relatives were occupying. He gave liberty to the government, the Lok Sabha Secretariat, to evict all those people. So the major, this one, I think I'll come down last one. Okay. The religious places were misused for political activities in the past. Legislation to end the use of any religious place for political activity. I think with this, I'll stop.
So I probably have another important point to add, which falls under the same domain. So because of Sri Narasimha Rao ji's reforms in the banking sector, the public had for the first time seen a simple thing like having our names on a checkbook. So what it meant was it meant a lot of security. It provided, so we now had the, ever before, this is something that the common man saw. Banks privatization, you were able to walk into a bank and able to interact with the bankers a lot more. And it helped develop the business a lot, because now small business owners were directly able to access and know their accounts because of the computerization, because of once the private banks got in, there was a huge change in the way we looked at banks.
Thanks, Ashokji.
Thank you for adding, Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prasad Garu and Ashokji. So the next question, we'd like to go with Prasad Swarna. And what are the contributions of PV to national defense with regard to making India stronger? That includes nuclear programs, anti-ballistic missile program, PSLV, etc. I know we touched on some national defense, but if you can elaborate on this, that would be great. Andy.
Sure, Andy. Thank you. So before I get into the question, I just want to basically speak about what portfolios Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu has held before becoming Prime Minister. And that really helped him basically to do justice to all the different aspects that India needs help. He served as a member of parliament, Lok Sabha, and then he rose to the national prominence in 1972, I think, for handling different diverse portfolios. Significantly, he basically worked in home, defense, and foreign affairs in the cabinets of both Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. He also served as a foreign minister between, I think, 1980 and 1984, and then 88 and 89 in Rajiv Gandhi. So I think with this diverse experience, he was able to really contribute really big in national defense, specifically driving the nuclear programs, anti-ballistic missile programs. He can be viewed as basically a father of Indian nuclear program, as he energized the national nuclear security and ballistic missiles program, which ultimately resulted in 1998 Pohran nuclear tests. I think he could not do the tests because of the budget reasons and other reasons. And when he handed over the power to Mr. Vajpayee, he indicated Vajpayee all the efforts that are done in that area and asked him to continue the support to the nuclear. Therefore, the nuclear test that happened in 1998. So he was the first world leader, basically, to warn United States and United Nations Security Council of non-state actors with nuclear ambitions, and made the world aware that the problems that would arise from uncontrollable spread of ready-made nuclear weapons would cause. So he basically made India stronger in that space, as well as also cautioned the world of issues that might bring up by having access to these nuclear weapons to the wrong people. So I think I just want to sum it up with that. Thanks for giving the opportunity.
So again, sir, it was during P.V. Narasimha Rao ji's tenure that TADA Act was implemented. This was the act against the terrorists. And this was for the first time that we ever had such an act, and that gave our internal police force, the internal system, a lot of teeth, and we were able to control terrorism to a large extent. So he made the nation powerful with this very important law.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. I think we saw how many people are punished under TADA after that.
Yeah, so it was the Terrorist and Disruptive Acts Prevention Act, I think, if I'm, yeah.
Thanks, Ashokji and Prasad. Vijay Kumar Garu, your next question, please.
ఇప్పుడు సరస్వతి గారు లేరు కదా, Because Sri Saraswati is not here, let us. I will direct this question to Nisha ji, if we can. That was an era, even before PV. PV was the later era. That was an era of learning. And the people were scholars. The people who fought for independence are amazing brains. They are non-stop learners and thinkers and speakers. Now, when it came to PV was, now there was a rare breed after the independence to come to the level of his incredible zeal for learning continuously from beginning to the end. And would you like to comment upon what drove him in that generation to do this, this zeal for learning? Just make a comment.
His ability to speak in 16 languages says it all, right? So he was, it's a personality thing, I think, that would bring, wanting to learn and wanting to achieve something. Though he, as we discussed before, he wasn't talking much, but he was a person who would probably listen and take in information. So it's his personality is what I would think.
Thank you, Andy. And Kaval Prasad garu, you have anything you want to add to that?
To his feeling, Kaval is Lakshmi Prasad garu.
Oh, okay.
Ashok garu had just changed.
Again,
what drove him to continuously read? It's not necessary. He's a prime minister. He was minister in the state. He was the chief minister and all that. But he didn't stop his learning and wanted to learn.
Yeah, avid reader of books, and as Shaila Taluri had already mentioned, he even learned COBOL. He learned computer programming. That was his interest in learning. He was all about technology. He introduced technology to the National Stock Exchange. Computerization of the National Stock Exchange was done during his tenure, and we've seen how the National Stock NSC, as we call it, is now among one of the largest contributors for world economy. Mumbai is seen as financial capital of the country today. So learning helped him introduce all the technology. He would learn from the young. He had no inhibitions in saying, okay, hey, I know everything, reading books, because of his knowledge in various languages. He would read a lot of books. He wrote several books in several languages. So that exposure, that knowledge really helped, I think, develop his overall personality, as rightly described by Nishaji.
Yeah,
thank you.
One last thing I want to add is knowledge makes great people.
Correct.
And courage that P.V. Garu showed as a leader for country came from the knowledge that he gave.
Vidwan sarvatra pujyate. A scholar is worshipped across the world.
Thank you. Good points. So Ashok ji, I have a question for you. In this is in regards to the multiple states that PV ji got elected to Lok Sabha. And so main thing, I'd like you to elaborate on how he handled the campaigns during those elections.
Oh, that campaigns again. So his immense knowledge in the books, his immense knowledge in the cultures of the various states that he represented. When he would go to Berhampur, he would become one among the Orients, the Orissa state. Berhampur is a constituency which is bordering Ichapuram, northeast Andhra Pradesh. So it's right next to it. It's on the border, but it's part of Orissa. So he would speak the Orient language there. So handling the campaign, when you speak the language of the locals, you immediately connect to them. When he represented Nandial, which is in Kurnool district, he would become one among the Kurnool people, speak the colloquial language there. When he was representing Ramtek, which is in Nagpur, Maharashtra, he would speak Marathi, and he would make sure that he did all the groundwork and understand the problems of the people, the local people there, and gave them the confidence that he would be able to solve that. And no wonder wherever he won with a good majority, convincing majority, and he represented his constituencies to the fullest extent possible in the Lok Sabha, taking the problems of the people and trying to solve them to the best of his abilities. Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Right. The next question, Rohit ji. The Bharat Ratna, when it came to Bharat Ratna, so far, how many people could achieve that? And one question that came across is, actually, I represent Mahatma Gandhi Center in St. Louis. One question that came is why Gandhi was not awarded by one of the persons. Any question can be asked, of course. Why Gandhi was not awarded, and then you also elaborate. We are trying to get Bharat Ratna to the most deserving person, PV, and what is the protocol and procedure by which one can get that?
Yes, sir. First, I would like to answer about the Mahatma Gandhi Award, Bharat Ratna for Mahatma Gandhi thing. So the award Bharat Ratna was instituted in the year 1954. So at the time of the institution, it was decided not to confer the Bharat Ratna to the citizens who already did. So we lost Gandhiji in the year 1948 itself, like 48. So like almost 6 years before institution of Bharat Ratna. So in the very first list of Bharat Ratna, first 2 years, we could not get Mahatma Gandhi into the list. So later on in the year 55, 56, I guess, the rules were amended, but also with the like there is a point of view that he is held with much more greater esteem by the people. So he is much higher than Bharat Ratna. So the award for Mahatma Gandhi kept on went pending. So there was also public interest litigations filed in the various courts asking the courts to direct government to confer Bharat Ratna to the Mahatma Gandhi. So even the Supreme Court in the year this year, in the month of January, stated that he is much higher than Bharat Ratna. So we can't direct and close the bill. So this is the point of view had for the Mahatma Gandhi, Bharat Ratna for Mahatma Gandhi. In the same lines, when it comes to Nobel Peace Award also, in the same lines, Nobel Peace Award will not be conferred people who already did. So just before 3 days before the announcement of Nobel Peace Prize to Mahatma Gandhi, he was shot dead. So the same year, the award Nobel Peace Prize also has been kept pending for the year 1948 without conferring to anyone. So this is all about the Bharat Ratna for Mahatma Gandhi and about other awards. So when coming to Bharat Ratna, has been conferred to 48 people so far. So like 45 Indian citizens and 3 foreign origin. So coming to the procedure involved into this, the majorly this procedure is like there is only one point of approach, that is Prime Minister recommendation to the President. So once the President approves the names recommended by the Prime Minister, it will be notified by the Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is the only one way to the only way of recommendation Bharat Ratna to any citizen. So there is no formal recommendation proposals, but many people, political parties, state governments, political groups, individuals raise their voice in demand of Bharat Ratna for many individuals, like as we were requesting for PV Garu. So there are many such demands, but ultimately the Prime Minister is the one who needs to be recommended, who should recommend the names.
Thank you, Rohit ji. Ashok ji, you wanted to add something to it?
Well, I just wanted to say that Mahatma Gandhi had already been conferred with the title of the father of the nation. And that was, I think, a far bigger title than Bharat Ratna, not demeaning or not trying to indicate that Bharat Ratna is any less, but Bapuji had already been honored with, a very good title. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And so the next one we'll go with Prasanna Kasturiji. And after that, we'll take a break. So Prasannaji, how did PV acquire, and you're the right person to answer this question. How did PV acquire multilinguistic quality, being born and raised in rural place of India?
I guess he has a lot of challenges, I think. One of the things is the way he, sometimes it's losses, sometimes it's wins. Each time he go for a place, he studies what is the culture there, what are the languages. And it's not necessary that, if you go to France, you learn French, or if you come to America, you learn English. I see a lot of Chinese still never learn English here, or Hispanics don't learn Spanish here. So, but our PVNG is not like that. So it's much smarter, because a language to grow up and make it a beautiful thing, it takes several centuries, probably millennia. So if you learn each language, it's the beautiful thing. Because when he went to Mumbai to study, he learned Marathi. Marathi is a beautiful language. You may be born in Telangana, you may be born Telugu guy, but the underlying thing is the Sanskrit, which he was very good. So I'm guessing he may be the person who may be trying to link all the languages of India with a common link called Sanskrit. So because he is so good in Sanskrit, his ability to pick up the languages, either Oriya or Kannada or Tamil, I don't know how he picked it up because it is his Dravidian language, but everything else, it's a basic link is there. So I think his IQ must be really big in picking up these languages. And at least, I'm thinking the person who thought all languages is my language is a true Indian. So nobody else can do that. See, everybody is gone, probably including Gandhiji, he spoke only Hindi and probably Gujarati. But only few people, probably I think only P.V. Narasimha Rao ji is the only guy who, I think he tried to go and understand and learn the language and study. And this is one of the stories I just read. It seems when Rajiv Gandhi came to power, he wanted to throw out all the old guys out, and one of them was Rao Garu too. So what Rao Garu overtook him is with his confidence of learning computers, just like you all said. So it's pretty interesting, it's not that easy to pick up a language, because I'm trying to pick up Spanish for a long time. That happened. So I think it's enable quality of his genuine learning. So you have to respect something. So if you don't respect something, you won't learn. So if he's shown his ability to learn several languages, because he loves it, he is a human. He's utterly a human, more than an Indian guy. He's a human person who really cherishes the beauty of the languages, beauty of 17 languages which he learned. So that's what I want to tell.
Yeah, no, great points. Along with the courage and transfer, we are talking about love and respect, love for others and respect for others and so on, other cultures. So with that, Prasad Garu,
one thing about the languages, and especially when it comes to Marathi and Telangana, is a lot of Telangana, especially northern Telangana people, it borders with Maharashtra. And even till date, you will find a lot of people who are very fluent with Marathi in Telangana right now. So that definitely helped them pick up Marathi. And Marathi, again, as Prasannaji rightly said, linking it up with the mother of all languages, as we say it, Sanskrit, Marathi linking it with Hindi, Hindi linking it with Oriya. So that enabled him to probably complete the circle. And I guess Tamil he learned by watching Tamil movies. Yeah.
Prasad Garu, it's time for break.
This program is sponsored by Cross-Country Mortgage, Signature Medical Group, Beauty Solutions, your learning center.
all know his achievements to our country and should not forget our father of modern India. We all NRIs appeal Indian government to honor Bharat Ratna for our PV Ram. Jai Hind.
నమస్కారం. నా పేరు మురళీకృష్ణ మేడ్చల్. తెలుగు వాళ్ళందరినీ ఏకం చేసి ఉత్తర అమెరికా సంఘం న్యాట్స్ మీడియా విభాగానికి ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ సెక్రటరీగా పనిచేస్తున్నాను. ముందుగా అందరికీ నమస్కారం. మనమంతా తెలుగు వాళ్ళం. మన యావత్ తెలుగు జాతి గర్వించదగ్గ గొప్ప యుక్తి, బహుభాషా కోవిదుడు, ఆర్థిక సంస్కరణ పితామహుడు మన తెలుగు జాతి ఆరంభించు మాజీ ప్రధాని దివంగత శ్రీ పివి నరసింహ. మన దేశ ఆర్థిక పరిస్థితులు మరుగు తిప్పి సంస్కరణలతో దేశాన్ని ప్రగతి పదంలో నడిపించిన దార్శనికుడు, సంక్షోభాన్ని మౌనంతోనే జయించి మహామహర్షి, యావత్ భారతాన్ని గర్వించదగ్గ గొప్ప మహోన్నతుడు, భారత అసోసియస్ పివి నరసింహారావు గారికి భారతం ఇవ్వాలని మనమంతా అంతకంట ప్రయత్నిద్దాం. డాక్టర్ పివి అంటూ మీరు కూడా మీ మొదలు తెలియజేయండి. నమస్కారం.
Vijay Kumar, the next question goes to Swarna Prasad garu.
Swarna Prasad garu. See, I was sitting in a speech by Swami Chinmayananda once. He mentioned that if a person has to be recognized as a great person, they draw inspiration from somebody. The inspiration should be there. You take anybody, including Vivekananda, there is somebody from whom they have taken the inspiration and made a dent and achieved the affection of the public. And this is, say, if you take even Mahatma Gandhi, you have Gokhale is the inspiration. So this inspiration is there. When you see, when PV as a Mauna Muni, he must have drawn the inspiration from some person, and we connect him to Chanakya, the way in which he has so silently and beautifully organized and reorganized the whole country. So can you, Prasad Garu, just make a comment on his how he used, from whom he could have got this to solve the most complex problems. When he came into power, it's not easy. He has only problems. There are no solutions. So whom he could have used as his inspiration to have solved these problems, and how did he do it? Just make a general comment about it.
Sure. Thanks, Sanjay. Thanks for the opportunity. I think we touched upon a lot of qualities that P.V. Garu has, like his vast experience in political arena, holding various portfolios, his affection towards poetry and literature and languages and reading, right? So all this probably has molded him with right qualities to handle crisis. So I want to give a few examples on his Mauna Muni quality that you mentioned. As a Mauna Muni, as a quiet person, he's observing. But if you take a look at how he took every crisis that he dealt with as an opportunity to basically solve the problems and take India to the next level. Whether it is basically economic crisis that he used to shift India from the trade and industrial policies that we inherited, which are inward oriented from Nehru and Indira Gandhi days, to he took them to a new trajectory, basically a globally integrated development platform, right? So, and you can see basically the global problems that were erased by disintegration of Soviet Union, or the US is basically trying to recreate World Trade Organization, scrapping the GATT that was prevalent at the time. So all this took as an opportunity to even transform India into more economic superpower. And he basically seek export-oriented economy, basically. Instead of consuming internally, he want to export, and by exporting, raising the dollar reserves and solving our economic problems. And also internationally comparable with sectors that can scale and the scale to the needs of the demand, basically, instead of restricting the scale and the production, basically, that is imposed by license permit Raj that was imposed during the Nehru period. So he was basically transformed our industries to scale according to the demand, not limit them basically because a monopoly, oligopoly, in view of them. And last thing I want to talk about is he took all this basically to emerge India as a major economic power in the world, and he communicated to the world saying that India is wide awake. We shall prevail and we shall overcome all our crises, and by opening up our economy to the international forum, by basically making our economy more export-oriented, and so on and so forth. So I think I kind of touched upon his style of basically governance, even though he was very quiet, but he took every opportunity that was presented to him to transform India into modern India.
Okay, thanks, Sanjay. Thanks, Prasadji. And I just wanted to ask Nishaji if she want to add anything to that.
Sure, Andy. And I just wanted to bring a quick personality trait that he had when you say Mauna Muni, right? He wasn't reacting to a lot of things and situations that happened around him, which I think helped him run the government. While he was observing it, he's not reacting to things.
Okay, thanks. So go ahead, Ashokji. I was going to ask you a question, so maybe you can add that and then take this question from this.
Sure.
Okay?
So what I would say is,
I'm going.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Yeah, so we'll go add your comment and along with this one. So what are his contributions to party manifesto of Congress, and what qualities of PV helped him to get to that statue? And go ahead and add what your points on the other one, and then expand on this one, please.
So a lot of people call him Maunamuni. So, as rightly said, he just reacted not in the way you would expect him to. So it's up to us to have an expectation, but that does not necessarily mean the person in front of you has to react in the way you would expect him or her to. And he had his unique way of expression. I think he was more of a man of action than words. He had very few words, but he has proved his mettle with a lot of his actions and all the actions that we've been talking about for the past hour and a half now. So having said that, your question to me, sir, was about his contributions and how he was able to contribute in the party manifesto. How was he able to do that? I personally believe that he had immense knowledge because of the various ministries that he had served. It served as, the economic and also the fact that he got in the key people at the right time. So he knew to bring the subject area experts to him, and he would seek their advice each time, every time. So that helped him develop the policies that would go and that would help build a manifesto that would be helpful for the people and help him win his elections. And that is again why he's also referred to as the Chanakya of the Indian politics.
To the coming into this, his abilities are amazing, because I was pre-independent born, actually. My father and my family was involved in independence movement. My father's scholarship is not small. PV was young when they were in the same cell many times, and everybody was there. PV was too young for my father to be there. What is amazing part of it is when we are saying that he has the ability to silently do it, is that people, many people like Patabi, Jay Patabi, B.C. Roy, Sarojini, many of these people could not do what he achieved so silently, and having a relationship, walking through the thorns of Congress. Congress of today, which they call Indian National Congress, is not that character at all. This is totally different. To walk through that was not possible for the generation of, say, my father, or even Jay Patabi, who was the president of Congress. So his amazing ability really surprises me. And if you take these dharmas that we have in India, Maunam is one of the dharmas out of the 24 pillars on which the whole Indian Sanatana Dharma is sitting. Maunam is one. And he has so effectively used, when Gandhi was saying ahimsa and non-violence and all, but I think he so effectively used that Maunam, that silence, and ability to not to react to the things that we automatically react. And that seemed to be the only character by which he could come up to the national level. They would not have allowed, whether it is south or north, it doesn't matter. Usually, if it is south, there would not have been a possibility to come. Even a slightest reaction to maneuvering that, I think he has that amazing special quality. If you can go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So Ashok ji, let me ask you this one. I know one of the questions we wanted to ask Saraswati Garu is about the music interest and so on, but she not being there, maybe some of you can, you and others can add, Prasanna ji and Nisha ji as well, on about how he inspired people, or what characteristics that he had in learning music, and then kind of using that to go ahead.
So as with all great orators and leaders, music, poets, poems are all gelling together, and it again goes in with his quality of reading books. Books included poetry. Poetry involves music, and again, so the music, with music comes a lot of knowledge, and I'm sure because of his keen sense of music and his interest in music, it helped him develop an overall personality, and that is what defined him as we know him today.
Prasannaji, anything you want to add? I know you and Nishaji are experts on cultural and dancers and so on.
I know PVN sir as a very pure, silent politician. I know he has translated books from Telugu to other languages. Not much about music abilities. Probably maybe a good listener, because I'm 100% sure with that kind of literary depth, they will not stop listening to any beautiful ragas or old creations. I'm sure they would have listened. But I just wanted to make one point is, listening to all these things. PV Narasimha ji is a great kind of a full stop for one dynasty rule. I wish there was more of inner elections must have happened. So that would have given more respect for PV Narasimha ji's work. That's what's happening in Congress. Congress, whatever it is the old cycle repeating. So I wish more people will openly talk from their own people. That is the only way to do, he respect people like Vajpayee or PV Narasimha Rao or Vishweshwaraya or somebody. They're all Indian people. They don't belong to one particular state. So I hope they'll go. Music, I don't know about him much.
Okay. Should I move on, Nishaji, or you have anything you want to add?
A quick point, and I was just reading about a book about PV Narasimha Rao, Half Lion. That was, I don't remember or recall who wrote it, but there was an instance which he described in the book. PV Narasimha Rao was playing a chess game at one point, and he wasn't able to focus, and he lost the game because a piece of music was playing in his mind, in the back of his mind. So to Saraswati Garu's point earlier that she made, I think that embracing of the disruption is one of his other qualities that lets him be what he is, and the personality that he has.
Okay, thanks, Andy. So let's take a small break.
I think this is
we'll have two questions after that. And so Prasad Garu, let's go with the break, please.
And I think this is where we miss Saraswati Garu, who would have been able to give us those minor, minute details that only a family person would know. But yes, Sir Prasad Garu.
This program is sponsored by Cross Country Mortgage, Signature Medical Group, River Solutions, your learning center.
Srinivas Reddy and I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I request the Indian government to honor our great leader, Sri P.V. Narasimha Garu, with the Bharat Ratna for his outstanding leadership. Please share the petition with your friends and family, and I request you all to sign the petition. Thank you, Jay.
Okay, thanks, Andy. So the next question, Prasad Garu, I would like to ask you about where did PV use his multilinguistic quality on an international setup to better resonate with audience? This is one of the last two questions, and I think is a very important one for our audience to know, how his knowledge and so on played into the international play as well as the diplomacy and so on. So with that, Prasad Garu. You're on mute, and Prasadji.
Yeah, sorry. So I just want to touch upon his creativity, righteousness, and courage are due to the knowledge and education that he has. Just to giving, we talked about his multilinguistic nature. He can speak in, I just read the language that he can speak in. Telugu, he can speak, that's his mother tongue. And he can speak as fluently as he can speak in Telugu and other languages like Marathi, English, Hindi, Oriya, Bengali, Gujarati, Kannada, Sanskrit, Tamil, Urdu, French, Arabic, Spanish, German, and Persian. He's not only a good, he can speak in these languages, he also helped translate the very known books from one language to other. Few examples are he translated Telugu literacy work Veyi Padagalu, which is written by Kavi Samrat Vishwanath Sachinarayana Garu into Hindi, Sahastrapan, and he also translated a Marathi novel into Telugu, and he also wrote his autobiography, basically sharing his political experiences. So all this basically what it sums it up into is due to his multilinguistic nature, he is able to also win for parliament from other states. Like Barampur, he ran from Barampur and won, and 2 times from Rantek, Maharashtra, Barampur, Orissa. And in those places, basically, he was able to talk in their native language or local language and connect with the people. And therefore, he was able to win. And specifically, when he was a foreign minister or a prime minister, when he was visiting international, meeting international leaders or visiting international places, he was able to deliver in their own language. For example, when he was visiting Spain, he gave a speech in Spanish. So those are the great examples. And the biggest message for the next generation, what they can take from him, is the importance of learning. Learning through reading or education, which is a very important factor to succeed in any field that you choose, basically. He is a living example on how good learning, good reading, and education can make you a successful person in whatever profession you choose for living. With that, I want to conclude my comment.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Prasadji. And Ashokji, let me ask you a question, and then we'll kind of move forward, wrapping up. So how was his diplomacy and his political tenure of resume of holding various portfolios, such as foreign affairs, human resources, education minister, prior to becoming PM, helped him transform India into modern India.
So diplomacy, as we know it, so because again, with all his qualities, with his ability to speak different languages and his foresight, he was able to develop a very strong relationship with Israel without hurting the Arab world surrounding Israel. So that was key in strengthening it was a very strategic key policy, I would say, in making India a superpower again. So India in today's world is not just a very strong economic power. It is a strong political power. It is a strong military power. It's a very strong country now. The seeds of which have been, put in by Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao ji. So having that foresight to look towards the West, right? India was more of a Russia, a socialistic, a communistic based, ideology based nation prior to Sri PVG. The previous Congress government's regimen would, tend to be more towards the USSR versus the United States. It was a total paradigm shift. His thought process, his foresight, he shifted towards Israel and the United States. At the same time, we still, till date, continue to have very cordial relationships with Russia. So that is where I think he basically laid the foundation for this.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Thank you very much, Ashokji. So I just wanted to add, I mean, again, I learned a lot from you all here. I know very little, of course, but I learned a lot. And a few things that I can stretch on is, again, when we're talking about qualities, definitely his knowledge base, that his willingness or curiosity to learn, his courage to apply or to act, or to not act when he's not supposed to act. And then he also has that great leadership qualities of when to lead and when to follow. And it's not an easy task to move from, I mean, he has shown his courage back as a freedom fighter, and then also to evolve after the Nehru dynasty, which is not an easy task to do those things, to juggle those things. And then most importantly, the diversity or the respect for others, their languages, and so on is what contributed him to be an Indian rather than an Andhra or rather than a politician. So those are the things that I pick up. So, but with this, I just wanted to thank everyone, and I wanted to give Prasad Swarna an opportunity to kind of see, you want to share any of the future activities that are going on and the message that he want to convey for folks to move forward with.
Sure. Thanks, Andy. Thanks. First, I want to thank Kaza Garu and Vijay Kumar Garu for hosting two debates and handling the dynamic nature of our debate planning as well as the participants. So thank you for that. Two is, I think, I just want to recap by saying NRS and NRI organizations are offering tribute to Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu, ex-president of India, on his centenary birth anniversary. This has started as a group of friends in St. Louis and Missouri, Michigan, and now it became a national movement. About, I think, 70 organizations, NRI organizations joined this movement, and we want other organizations who haven't heard or just heard about it through this medium, please come and join us, and we can collectively work towards the common goal of remembering P.V. Garu on his centenary birthday anniversary, remind people in Government of India of his services to our country, and request Government of India to honor him with Bharat Ratna in 2020. And about coming to the next activity, Sunday, every week we have a TV debate or a discussion like this on PV's reforms and special focusing on his contributions to the country. And next week, we have a debate on national security. And the following week, we have a debate on his poetic nature. And the following week after that, we have PV's family basically will come and participate in a public discussion. Basically, all his members, extended family members will join. And that will be hosted by Telugu Association of Southern California. So with that, I think, and then the final thing is we all as an organizations and NRAs and NRA organizations will go and meet Vice President of India, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, in the first week of December and close out the campaign and hand over all the activities that we have performed to him and request to the government of India through him and other BJP leaders to seriously consider and grant Bharat Ratna to PV Garu. Thank you again, Mana TV and TV5 for really extending your support throughout this journey, and really appreciate your support one more time to the management of Mana TV and TV5.
Swarna Garu and Viseswara Garu, my humble apologies for the last minute. Somehow it entered to me because it was last time was a Sunday. He reminded me many times, but I read Saturday as Sunday every time. Any email. My apologies if I had held you down. But luckily I could get on without a glitch with this computer on time. We started on time, I hope, Ashokji. I think we started on time, right?
Perfect, sir. You were perfect. And I think we started off as a small movement, and today it is growing large. And we hope and expect our voice to be heard at least by the government of India. And to make that happen, we request those of you who are listening to kindly forward our message. All you have to do is forward our message to those within your circles and spread the message of conferring the Bharat Ratna to a person who truly deserves it, to PV Narasimha Rao ji. Having said that, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
ఆకర్షణీయమైన బహుమతులతో ఆకట్టుకునే బాలోత్సవం రండి. వెంటనే ఆన్లైన్లో రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకోండి. పిల్లల కోసం తానా తెరిచిన కళల ప్రపంచంలోకి అడుగు పెట్టండి. ఆన్లైన్లో రిజిస్ట్రేషన్కు ఆఖరి తేదీ అక్టోబర్ 16. బాలోత్సవ్ గ్రాండ్ ఈవెంట్ 2020 నిర్వహణ నవంబర్ 14న https://tinYURL.com/balotsavam2020